Okay, let's unpack this. We're going far beyond, smart streetlights today.
Way beyond.
We are diving into the genesis of for-profit private cities, and I mean literal semi-autonomous cities being built by the biggest names in tech.
Venture capital, crypto founders, the whole ecosystem.
Exactly. And our mission here is to figure out how this idea, which was, let's be honest, a pretty fringe libertarian concept for years, suddenly became a multi-billion-dollar asset class.
Well, what's so fascinating is you have this perfect convergence of two huge forces that made it real.
Okay, what are they?
First, you've got a whole generation of tech workers who are just genuinely fed up with existing cities. And it's not just about the rent.
It's the bureaucracy.
It's the bureaucracy. They see things like zoning laws or labor rules as just crushing burdens on innovation. They want to build, and they want to build fast.
So they're looking for an exit, a total exit.
Yeah, precisely. And the second force was the crypto boom. I mean, it basically proved that you could build these parallel, decentralized financial systems from scratch. That gave them the confidence to try it in the physical world.
Right.
Like Amjad Masad said, young tech talent is, and I'm quoting here, yearning to discover new ways of living.
And that yearning has translated into some serious scale. We're talking about the network state movement from Balaji Srinivasan with, over 120 startup societies in progress?
That's the number being reported, and it's bankrolled by giants. Peter Thiel, Mark Andreessen, Sam Altman.
So is this just, I don't know, luxury real estate with a new marketing spin? Or is there something more fundamental going on?
That is the critical distinction. It's not just about property. It's about governance. They're selling governance as a product.
How does that even work?
It's Petra Friedman's model. Imagine a city run like a company. It's venture-backed, it gets revenue from fees, and it writes some of its own laws. And it runs on customer satisfaction.
Wait, customer satisfaction, not elections?
No elections. If you don't like the service, you leave. That's the theory.
I mean, critics would immediately call that feudalism. So what is the investor actually buying here?
They're buying something called jurisdictional real estate. So think of it like this. The value of the land isn't just its location. It's the legal autonomy that comes with it. You're not just buying an office. You're buying the right to write the rules for everyone who lives and works there.
Okay, so the vision sounds compelling, at least on a spreadsheet. But what happens when it actually meets, sovereign dirt? We have to talk about the flagship case. Próspera in Honduras.
Próspera is the perfect example. It's a semi-autonomous zone. It's got its own labor rules. It uses retired U.S. judges for arbitration. It even accepts Bitcoin.
And it drew a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, over $150 million in investment. But, and this is the key, autonomy immediately leads to collision. The Honduran courts called Próspera's status unconstitutional and tried to repeal its charter.
And this is where it gets wild. Próspera didn't just back down. They sued the government of Honduras.
For $11 billion.
$11 billion in future lost profits. That's a single private company challenging the entire fiscal integrity of a sovereign nation.
That is the geopolitical friction right there. And it's why critics use words like predatory or call it a private state inside a weak state. The whole veneer of innovation just sort of peels away.
And it's not just these big sovereignty plays. We're also seeing these, frankly, weirder variations.
Like the ideologically branded cities.
Exactly. Praxis or Atlas, which are trying to attract very specific demographics like AI engineers or longevity enthusiasts. They're planning a defense-focused spaceport city.
It does sound like something out of a James Bond movie, doesn't it?
It really does. Which brings us to the main critique. Is this innovation, or is it just, profitable opportunism to get away from taxes and regulation?
I mean, even Friedman himself was pretty blunt about it. He said, regarding his African projects, we are funding companies that will operate non-democratic cities. That's a direct quote. There's no hiding the trade-off.
That's incredibly candid. So let's bring this home. What's the key takeaway for someone listening to this?
I think the takeaway is that the global property market is changing. You're not just competing with other cities anymore.
You're competing with privately governed jurisdictions offering their own bespoke tax structures and regulations. No stamp duty, crypto-native finance, you name it. Governance itself is now the ultimate amenity.
It's the product. And that leaves us with a pretty provocative thought.
Go on.
Well, what does it truly mean for the future when the foundational design of our communities intentionally prioritizes efficiency and investor returns over the sometimes messy, shared values of a traditional democracy? That's the uncomfortable question these places force all of us to confront.